guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back, and if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we're actually in Brindleton Bay today, making what I considered a farmhouse. It kind of looks like a farmhouse. It has like this not full farmer's porch, like it doesn't wrap around the whole home, but there is like a little porch off to the side, and there are some kind of like back patios on each level of the home, and it just kind of looks like it's more of a farm home to me than anything else. I guess you could probably call it a suburban home too. It doesn't really matter. But I did make it on the, I think it's the Pupperstone Park lot in Brindleton Bay. So this was the dog park that was here prior, but I really do like the size of this lot for a bigger home. There are a lot of big lots in Brindleton Bay, but they are kind of off in that like fancy pantsy district. It's not even a district, but they're kind of like off in the hills-ish, like where the Delgado family is and where there are the other two kind of Dutch colonial homes. So I did want to take advantage of this little square. I think this is called Stable Square or Scable Square or something. And it's really, really cute. There's like this little, I don't know, this little kind of park-ish place, like a little gathering spot where a vendor pops up seasonally, which is kind of nice, and there are animals walking around everywhere, and it just kind of seems like a little hub. So I thought it would be a great place for another home, because most of the lots here, I think aside from this one, and there's a vet clinic that's supposed to be across the street, you will actually probably notice my Christmas tree lot build across the street. And now that I'm watching this footage, I'm realizing that it's back there. But that's basically where I started drafting that idea. I build in so many different kind of like save files, I suppose, because when I build something for my save versus something for fun, I don't want to overwrite any lots just because I want to use that specific lot. Do you know what I mean? Like some lots have better lighting than others, so I want to use those for screenshots and all that fun stuff. And because it's the size lot I want to build on, but it may not necessarily be for my save files. So there are random lots all over the place, and it just so happens that my Christmas tree lot is across the street in the middle of summer. So just ignore that. But now the shape is pretty much coming together for this home. It's a very simple shape in my head. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but I do really like how it came out. And I really enjoyed using this base game siding and base game roofing because I don't use a lot of base game. I also used windows that are base game. Like I kind of surprised myself with how much of it I actually used, but I thought the color scheme was really pretty. And I've been seeing a lot of simmers lately pull these out of the debug menu. So these kind of little like stepping stones so you can make little pathways. And it looks so much freaking nicer than the terrain paint that we have. The terrain paint's fine, but it just looks really solid. And this allows you to kind of make a pathway that looks as though, I don't know, like it's genuinely sitting on top of the lawn. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit more rustic, a little bit more natural looking. I think that's what I'm kind of going for here. It looks a little bit more natural, it fits in a little bit nicer. And now I'm starting on the landscaping, and in this build in particular, I really did lean on the debug menu a lot. At least with the landscaping, maybe some of the decorations on the interior, but definitely the landscaping is pretty much almost all debug menu, which is kind of nice because I think most of, if not all of the plants that I used are going to be zero simoleons, which is really nice. I mean, once we get into the interior, I don't think price is going to be a concern. I think that if you're going to want to download this, you're probably going to have to cheat, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter that the plants are $0 because the home itself is fairly expensive just because I never skimp on decorations unless I'm intentionally making a starter home or like a base game home or just something. Which kind of makes me think, would you guys want me to make a few starter homes just for fun? Like fully furnished starter homes, stuff like that, maybe even shells. I wouldn't necessarily do speed builds, but maybe I'd upload them to the gallery if you guys wanted some starter homes. That's kind of an idea. I've only done one base game starter before, and way back when, I was considering using it for some kind of Let's Play, but I just never, it never took off and I never came up with an idea that I liked. So I've only done one base game starter and really only one kind of starter home. I think actually there was the Glimmerbrook starter, so there's a couple, but they were kind of special, so I don't know, that might be kind of a fun idea. But now I'm kind of placing a bunch of trees around the rest of the lot here because even though the home is fairly big, I think, in my opinion. It's really not that big, and I had a lot more of the lot to play around with, which is exactly what I wanted, because I was thinking that, you know, it is a farm home. They do have some farming like lines of plants in the front yard, but what I end up pulling out actually is a debug pond. So the family that lives here, I don't know, I really like the idea of them, but I haven't made them yet. And I am thinking this is going to be for my save file. However, this won't be on this particular lot, I don't think. I have all of the worlds mapped out, and I think for Brindleton Bay, this was remaining a park of some type. I'll have to look at my notes again. I don't really remember, but it may not be on this lot in particular, but it will be on a bigger lot. But anyway, I was thinking that with the pond there, that it was basically something that the dad wanted. Like, he wanted this home solely for the pond. He didn't care about anything else, because I think that he is an angler. Like, he is a fishing fanatic. And when we get on the interior, you guys will actually see kind of like the wall of some of his most prized catches. And I think maybe he even runs a club, like the fishing club, and I think that already exists in game when you get together. But I think for my save, I want to work it out where he's like the head of the club or something, or I create my own and disband the other one. I don't know, I haven't really decided. But here's the pond, and I put a few fishing signs around it as well, because that way your Sims can actually go ahead and fish in this pond, which I thought was really nice. And I add this little kind of barren archway, and it may look kind of odd, but I thought it worked nicely, because it just kind of, I don't know, it draws you into that path, I suppose you could say. I don't know, I thought it looked cute. And I was thinking that maybe mom is a gardener, so this couple is very outdoorsy, but they also didn't want to live like kind of out in the sticks. They wanted to kind of still be in the town square, and I mean, their home is really, really nice. It's really not a rustic home by any means, but they do have a few outside activities. So they do have this little like horseshoe game out here, the little beehive, and I actually really leaned heavily on laundry stuff in this build. As in, I made sure that they had a washer and dryer, like they have a designated laundry room, and they have the wash tub as well as the clothesline out back as well. So they have a few different options to do their laundry, which again, I think speaks to the fact that they're very outdoorsy Sims, but they do also lean on, I suppose you could call them modern day luxuries. Like, they don't have to wash their clothes in the wash tub. They don't have to hang them on a clothesline. They have the appliances inside. But sometimes, like when the weather's really nice and they're feeling pretty self-sufficient, maybe mom is like, you know what? I'm going to hang the sheets outside so they can dry in the fresh air, and they're going to smell great. They're going to smell like the flowers. Like, that's what I imagine. Also, quarantine. I guess I shouldn't call it quarantine, but self-isolation is definitely taking its toll on me. I'm starting to get a little slap happy, a little wacky. Actually, last night I was super wild, and I had a virtual Animal Crossing date with my best friend. And we were getting real weird, and I think some of that's carrying over to this voiceover, so just, you know, bear with me. I'm letting loose just like a little teeny weeny bit here, but now I'm kind of wrapping up the exterior. I add a few trash cans here near the front, and I think I just kind of put some of these gardening lines in the front as well. So, you know, when we really think about it, this being a farmhouse, it's honestly the style, I suppose, I was going for, because they don't have a barn and they don't have like this huge gardening area, though there are those gardening plots in the back on the other side of the pond there. So I don't know. I also add a few bikes outside, so I was thinking that this family had a little girl who's a child sim, and maybe they just had a baby boy, because I do make a nursery as well with the little bassinet. So that's kind of my thought for this family, and maybe mom and dad really like riding their bikes, so that's why there's a few of them kind of hanging around on the property. And you know what? I think I have a mod that allows children to ride bikes. Or can they already do that? I haven't even tried. Oh my gosh. Maybe they can already do that. I honestly don't know. But I also have the mod that lets them like garden and cook. So maybe their daughter loves going out in the garden with mom and kind of like harvesting things and learning all about that. I was also thinking that they had a dog and a cat. So it's really a full house, even though they only have 2 children. But I think the pets add like a lot to that. I don't know, but I think that the cat and the dog actually get along really well. Of course, I can't control that in The Sims 4, but that was kind of my thought. And now we're finally on the interior. I wanted this interior to be very, very neutral, and it took a long time for me to figure out I suppose a color scheme, which sounds weird, right? Because neutral colors are, well, they're very neutral. There really isn't too much of a color scheme that happens there, but it took a long time for me to kind of just figure out ways to pick pieces that didn't just blend in with the rest of the home too, color-wise, and that they did still kind of stick out. So I don't know, it took a little bit, but I decided to start with the kind of front entry area, and I wanted to place these mats outside of all the doors. And I was thinking that this was kind of the hub of where like their daughter checks her schedule and where they kind of leave little notes to one another on that family board, and I end up moving it to an opposite wall. But this is where I was gonna dive real deep into the debug menu, so if we're like hanging out here for a while, I apologize. But I was trying to look for a specific item. I was looking for a notepad because I was thinking that maybe mom or dad, they quickly write down things they want to get from the nursery for gardening or like fishing supplies as they're heading out the door. There was also this little item there. It's just called detergent, and that came with romantic garden stuff is what it was labeled as. Does anyone have any idea what that means? I have no idea what that means. I don't know why that came with romantic garden stuff. Is that, if my memory's serving me correctly, is that because they can put bubbles in the fountains? Can they do that? Ooh, I might have to play around with that. That would be kind of fun. But I don't know, it just looked like a clutter item. I put some bird feed near the door as well because, you know, I was thinking that they had a bird feeder because there is a birdhouse that I place in the back, but now that I think about it, I didn't give them the actual bird feeder, which is ridiculous because it's an activity that they could have. But I kind of forgot about it, so you can add it in there if you'd like. But now I'm just kind of adding some more clutter items and picking out a little area rug. I want to mention too, there are tons of mirrors in this home. There's one downstairs here, there's one upstairs in the hallway, there's one in the living room, one in the parents' bedroom, one in the daughter's bedroom. Of course, there's one in their bathroom. There's 2 bathrooms. So that's already 7. That's already 7 mirrors in the entire house. I'm pretty sure I have 2 mirrors in my house. Like that's what I have. And that's only because I bought another mirror. Of course, there's only one in the bathroom, and then I have one in my bedroom. So that's it. So there's like an exceptional amount of mirrors in this build, and I don't know why that is. I've been leaning on them a lot more for kind of wall clutter because I kind of get tired of using the same wall decorations all of the time. So sometimes I try to supplement with mirrors and it just gets a little out of hand. So I don't know. But now I'm working on the living room. Again, super neutral. I wanted it to look very clean and kind of calming, but I also wanted it to look lived in. And, you know, I try to shy away from these couches, but I used them. These are unlocked. I don't even know what career it is or what you have to do to unlock them, but if you do the BB show hidden objects or the BB ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement cheats, that's a mouthful, you can unlock these couches. Of course, if you download this build, they will just pop into your game. It won't be a problem, but I tried not to use these because I was really leaning towards the cats and dogs couches at first, but I used those a lot, and those are the only couches we have, at least in my opinion, that kind of look like your average couch. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Because I'm looking at my couches right now. I'm literally staring at them, and they look like these couches, and that makes me think that they're super comfortable, and I just want to like snuggle up on them. And I don't know, a lot of the couches we have in game just don't look that comfortable, and they're also very, very specific styles. Like, I feel like we don't have a lot of versatile couches. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. We don't have a lot of couches that seem very versatile or just very like plain, and I kind of want neutral, like plain couch swatches and different styles. And I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, but I definitely want more couches with pillows, and like a lot of pillows, because that's why I like the cats and dogs couch so much, is because there's pillows everywhere. There are a few couches from Seasons too that have a lot of pillows that I enjoy, but I don't know, that's just a thought. But now I'm working on the kind of like little angler wall here. So this is where Dad displays, I think, 3 of his favorite catches thus far. And maybe he caught them in that pond that's in their yard, so he's like exceptionally proud about them. But I put the little kind of like club symbol there as well as the club flag because, like I said, I think he either runs the club or something. Maybe he works in the industry in some way, shape, or form. I have no idea. But then I went into the debug menu again, and I found a couple of books that I wanted to add to the coffee table. So I was thinking that Mom is a very good cook. She's into flower arranging, gardening, all that stuff. But maybe Dad has actually taken a liking to like gourmet cooking and even flower arranging as well because they kind of want to go into business together. So he got some books there to try to read up and catch up to his wife's amount of skill is kind of what I was thinking. They also have a little frog there on that console table because I was thinking again, maybe they caught that frog in their little pond. Maybe their daughter caught it or something. So it's kind of the family pet, but he has a small enough little habitat that he just kind of hangs out in the living room. And then I add this little kind of storage unit because it has like plates and everything from seasons. And I give them a fish tank, just another flower arrangement, and another lamp because I didn't really know how to fill that wall. And I also placed the cat bed and the scratching post there. And the cat actually has a couple of beds throughout the home. And I don't know if I'm the only one that does this, so if you guys do this too, let me know, but I don't usually give dogs beds. Now hear me out, it's because they typically go to sleep on the couch, on the Sims beds, or like a bench. Like they prioritize benches and couches over anything else in the game. And it drives me insane. So I didn't even bother giving the dog a bed because I was assuming that this family just lets their dog sleep wherever he or she wants. And the cat, though, the cat probably does the same, but they at least provide like cat beds. So there's one upstairs as well in the parents' bedroom, I believe. And then there's this one down here. And there are multiple scratching posts because I am not about the cat scratching the sofa. That's not gonna happen. And I think there's only one litter box too. It's in the downstairs bathroom, which on second thought, maybe it should go in the laundry room. Nah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. In real life, I wouldn't put it in the bathroom. If I had a laundry room, it might go in there. But then when you think about it, that's where your clothes are getting clean. So I really hate the idea of a cat going to the bathroom there. I don't know. But now I'm kind of working out the dining area in the kitchen, and I really wanted to utilize one of those little corner couches. And I was going to make it kind of a breakfast bench, but it's not usable. Like when you push this round table up against it, your Sims can't sit there in the window and eat at the table. So I wanted to make sure I used it because I really liked the idea. So I ended up putting it there, and then I put the table on the opposite wall. And thankfully your Sims can get by that table and the chairs. They could sit at all of the chairs and still use the kitchen. I didn't have a problem with it. If you guys do, you may have to remove a chair. That would be my suspected culprit to an issue. But then they can also use that little corner bench. So I imagined, you know, some of the Sims sitting there and curling up and reading a book or enjoying their morning coffee, just looking out the window. I want realism there, so that's the realism for me. And now I'm just kind of trying to work out what this back room was going to be, and then I decided to make a separate laundry room because I was going to make it kind of a laundry area, and then I was like, wait, I have the room, why don't I just separate this from the rest of the build? So that's exactly what I do. And a lot of the laundry rooms that I make are, I don't know, they're very similar. I usually use the same items from laundry day to make it look like a laundry room because we only have, I think, 2 kind of quote-unquote shelves or storage shelving unit things that go on the wall, and that's my favorite one because it has the hangers on the bottom of it, so I use that one a lot. And I decided to make it kind of a half bath too, and granted there isn't a sink in here, but I did want to put a toilet in there just so they had an extra one because that was originally going to be a bathroom, and then I wanted to add the laundry room, so I kind of had to make a sacrifice there. But there is a full bathroom down here as well, so there's kind of like this, not even a half bath, I guess we'll call it a quarter bath just because it has only the toilet, but there is only the toilet there, and then over here is the full bathroom. And this little trick here, I've done this before, but I just haven't put forth the effort into doing it lately. So I grabbed the Parenthood curtains, and I have to remove the wall because otherwise it'll just clip to them, but it kind of creates a little curtain in front of the bottom of that more so industrial looking sink, and I really love that sink. and I wish that there was a version with a little curtain in front of it because I absolutely love that. But sometimes I just have to make it my own, so that's what I do. If you guys were curious about kind of how to do that, because it happened really fast. And then I kind of realized that, well, I don't really want a bathtub here. That's not going to be the most useful use of that space. And what I end up doing is I think I change out that tub to just a shower. And I put this little cat tower here so the cat has some more things to kind of climb around on and whatnot. And that's why I realized that I needed to put the cat box somewhere. So I put it there in that bathroom downstairs right next to the shower. And this little kind of breezeway, I guess we're going to call it, it honestly is just a storage space for these Sims. So I put a cooler there, and then I put like this container of just like camping gear and stuff like that. I think we got it with Outdoor Retreat, as well as the box of decorations. So there's nothing fancy about this. I feel like it looks more realistic than a lot of the things that I might make in The Sims. And it's not like it's particularly pretty, but I think it's realistic. And that's also where the cat feeder is. So the dog bowls are outside, which I'm realizing may not be the best, but luckily in The Sims, your pets can eat from the same bowl, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know. And now we're working on the upstairs. So this is a 3-bedroom, and now I'm trying to think of it, 2.25 bath, I want to say. So there is the master bedroom, they have their daughter's room, and then the nursery, as well as a little playroom, actually. I was thinking it was going to be a study, but I didn't quite determine what I wanted the parents' jobs to be yet. Like, I think fishing and gardening are their hobbies, and they're very, very much immersed in their hobbies, but that isn't what their kind of full-time job is, per se, even though I did kind of say, oh, maybe dad's in the fishing industry, but, like, what does that mean, right? Like, you could be a fisherman. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of what we have in The Sims, and pretty much all we've got is, like, the fisherman career, which is only part-time, and then we have the gardening career, so mom could be a full-time gardener, but I don't really know what dad does. So I didn't really decide that yet, but that's why they didn't get a study. But I work on their bedroom first, and I absolutely love it because these 4 windows in the front let in so much light, and it just like spills over the bed, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And even though it doesn't seem like they have a lot of room here, I was still able to get a lot of items in, which made me happy. So mom actually on the right side of the bed there has like the sketch pad and a camera, so maybe she's also into photography a little bit and likes to draw in her free time. And then dad has another fishing book on his end table as well. And I end up giving them a standing mirror. That's mirror number, 3 or 4 at this point, as well as a dresser. And then on the opposite wall, I actually give them a desk. And I put one of the Brightchester pendants above the desk because I was thinking that maybe dad or mom or both of them ended up going to Brightchester, and maybe that's how they met, and I really liked that idea. I wasn't thinking this couple was particularly young. I don't think they're old either, but I was thinking maybe they're in like their 30s, not 20s, like they're not fresh out of university or anything like that, but maybe they're in their 30s, like mid 30s, and they're really starting to, you know, they have a family, they've started a family, their daughter's getting a little bit older, they just had their second child, and like their careers are really in a good place. That was kind of my thought. So they do have this little desk area with just a laptop because, you know, maybe their careers don't involve them needing like this really nice at-home office, which is I think is why I didn't end up making it. And I give them ceiling fans in their master bedroom and the living room. I always forget we have fans, and I always forget that they actually will take the place of the thermostat if it's hot, I believe. So that's kind of cool. And now I'm working on the daughter's room, and this is probably my favorite kids' room to date. I went a little bit out of my comfort zone and went, I don't know, super colorful, which I use a lot of color, but I think kind of like this blue, pink, purple-ish combo. It just felt like it was out of my comfort zone because I felt myself reaching for items that I wouldn't normally put together, or at least not in the appropriate order that I usually do. Like, it was a weird moment for me to kind of go through this, but I really liked how it came out because I also pushed a lot of items just strictly against the walls, which I usually put items at angles or clutter things up in an unnatural way or something like that. So it was a little odd. to actually just place items against the walls and keep the middle of the room super open. And maybe that's just how it felt to me. Maybe it looks totally like most of my other rooms, and this is not out of the ordinary for my builds. I feel like you guys would have probably the best scope on that because I am just building all of the time, and what's kind of going on with the internal monologue for me is probably not what translates over to the builds more often than not. So I don't know, it could be totally not different, but I really liked her room. And one of the things that I wanted to do was actually add accent walls because the whole home was basically beige. So I wanted to add some purple and some blue in her room to make it a little bit more unique. So each opposite wall is the same color, if that makes sense. And I thought it came together so nicely. It's a little cluttered, a little crazy, but it's such a kid's room, and I just thought it was so cute. She even has a toy chest and a little teddy bear to raise her empathy skill. Little nugget. And this is gonna be the nursery, which I wanted to kind of do the same thing with an accent wall, but I think it just didn't work. It just didn't work enough. I don't know, so I ended up changing it to the penguin wallpaper, which I really like as well. And you may have noticed that when I placed the bassinet, it was flagged as custom content. So I want to be very clear that yes, that is a custom content item. However, I believe it is just the replacement for essentially changing the fact that babies are objects in a way. I don't know, it allows you to basically place the babies anywhere, and it makes the crib kind of invisible. So it may be here in build mode, and it was there for the screenshot, so maybe it's not actually custom content. However, if you go and download this build, it may be flagged for custom content, and know that yes, that piece is, but all you have to do is put the default base game bassinet there and it'll be fine. Like, that is the only item in here that may be flagged for that, and it's already frustrating me that that's the case. But yeah, that's kind of annoying because I do have that default replacement, and honestly, my mods folder has like 600-700 items, so I don't really know if I didn't know if I wanted to comb through those to remove that just for a build. So I didn't do it. But yeah, just so you guys are aware, there's no other custom content. The build is basically CC free, so don't worry about it. But now I kind of placed a chair there and some other decorations. I didn't put a lot in here, but I did want it to be a room that this baby could grow into when they become a toddler. So I believe the placement of the bassinet, if that's just replaced with a toddler bed, they will still be able to access, you know, that bookcase and play with the toys that I placed on the ground, which was just the toddler blocks. But I thought it was really cute and really sweet and just very simple. And then I work on the parents' bathroom, and I wanted to make kind of like a vanity sink. I think that's what it's called, right? Like the double sinks, like double vanity sinks, maybe. But I didn't really know what counters to use or what mirrors, because we don't really have just a simple plain mirror that will span 3 countertops, like 3 squares or anything like that. We have the one from Parenthood, but I think that only spans 2 tiles, if my memory serves me correctly. So I ended up using this mirror from Seasons and partially overlapping them just on that little kind of lattice side. I thought it looked pretty good, actually. I love that mirror, and usually I like it a little bit lower, but I thought for a bathroom mirror that actually looked fairly decent. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. And yeah, they have the double sinks, and then they also have a shower and a bathtub. I didn't do the shower tub combo because it was blocking the windows, so I give them at least a stand-up shower and a bathtub, so when that baby does age up into a toddler, they will have a place to actually bathe him or her, which is of vital importance. I think you could also squeeze a little toddler potty in there too, if you needed to. And so as I kind of decorate this little, I guess, landing area, which is not important and not fun at all, I wanted to ask you guys, because I did hit a milestone on my channel here, thanks to you guys, because I'm just flabbergasted over that. Like, so much happened. Like, my first version of my save file, you guys were so sweet and just incredible about that. And then I hit my milestone that I had actually set for June for myself. So I have no problem being transparent for that. I certainly want to grow my channel. I'm having so much fun, and it's even more fun with more of you guys here. So I hit that milestone, and a couple of you had been asking if I wanted to do like a Q&A, or if I was going to do a Q&A of some kind. I did ask over on Twitter. It looks as though folks don't really want a Q&A, at least over there, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you guys directly in a video if you wanted me to do a Q&A and maybe show my face, see what I look like. I know there's mystique there, right? Like, I always want to know what people look like if they don't show their face in videos. But yeah, definitely let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. If you guys are interested in a Q&A, I'm gonna have to figure out how to like field those questions and then answer them, and then how I'm gonna do that, because it's definitely not something I've done before, and I don't have like a community tab on YouTube. I'm assuming that comes with like a certain amount of subscribers. I honestly don't know much about YouTube and how it works, other than the fact that I can upload videos. That's about it. But yeah, let me know if that's something that you guys are interested in, and I'll figure it out. But this is basically the little kids like craft room. So there's the void critter table, the creativity table, and that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. You by my side. If you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave and come along. I'll be alright. Promise we don't need no brake lights. We can travel the world, so just say yes. Choose to do whatever comes next. This or that, getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night, or drinking red wine by an open fire, make love or fight. This or that, this or that, evenings on the train or catch a morning flight, enjoying dinner until midnight, or bed by night. This or I wanna see it all, find the northern lights, see the stars in the open wild, catch a glimpse of Panama. We don't need a map, I'll let you know when we've arrived, yeah. We can travel the world, so just say yes. Choose to do whatever comes next. This or that, getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night, or drinking red wine by an open fire, make love or fight. This or that, this or that, evenings on the train or catch a morning flight, enjoying dinner until midnight, or bed by night. This or we can travel the world, so just say yes. Choose to do whatever comes next. So just be brave and come along. I wanna do it all. This or that, getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night, or drinking red wine by an open fire, make love or fight. This or that, this or that, evenings on the train or catch a morning flight, enjoying dinner until midnight, or in bed by night. This or this or that, getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night, or drinking red wine by an open fire, make love or fight. This or that. I wanna do it all with you by my side. If you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave.